Welcome back to the Exponential English Podcast. Today, I want to talk about something very simple but very powerful. If you are learning English, you may think you need to speak fast. You may think fast English sounds more natural. You may think fast English sounds more fluent. But that is not always true. In fact, for many English learners, speaking more slowly is one of the best things you can do. Yes, slowly. Not too slowly in a strange way, but slowly enough to think, slowly enough to breathe, and slowly enough to speak clearly. A lot of learners feel pressure. They hear native speakers talk quickly. They watch movies, YouTube videos, and interviews. They hear fast speech everywhere. And then they tell themselves, I need to sound like that. So they try to push the words out as fast as possible, but when that happens, many problems begin. They forget grammar. They choose the wrong verb. They skip small endings. Their pronunciation becomes weaker. Their mind becomes more nervous. And instead of sounding fluent, they sound stressed. This is why speaking slowly can help so much. When you slow down, you give your brain time. You give yourself space. You give your mouth time to form the sounds correctly. And you give your listener a better chance to understand you. That is real communication. And real communication is more important than speed. Let's think about grammar first. When you speak too fast, it is easy to lose control of the sentence. Maybe you want to say, my brother works in a bank. But if you are rushing, maybe you say, my brother worked in a bank. That small S disappears. Or maybe you want to say, she goes to school every day. But because you are nervous and speaking too quickly, you say, she go to school every day. Again, the ending disappears. These are small things, but they matter. And when you speak more slowly, you have more time to notice them. You can think, okay, third person, I need the S. You can build the sentence more carefully. You can make fewer mistakes. Slow speaking does not make you worse. It often makes your English more accurate. Now let's talk about pronunciation. This is another big reason to slow down. English has many sounds that are difficult for learners. Some sounds are not in your first language. Some sounds are easy alone but difficult inside a sentence. And when you rush, your mouth does not have enough time to move well. The sounds become weak. Words begin to mix together. Your speech becomes less clear. But when you slow down, you can feel each word more clearly. You can open your mouth more. You can move your tongue more carefully. You can hear the difference between similar words. For example, think about the words ship and sheep, or lave and leave, or cat and cut. These small differences matter. If you speak too fast, those differences can disappear. But if you slow down, you can pronounce each sound with more control. And that makes your English easier to understand. Clear English is powerful English. Now let's talk about confidence. This is very important. A lot of people think confidence comes from speed. They think confident speakers talk fast and never stop. But real confidence often looks different. Real confidence can be calm. Real confidence can be controlled. Real confidence can sound steady. When you speak slowly, you often feel more relaxed. You do not feel like you are running. You do not feel like you are chasing the sentence. You feel more present. You feel more in control. And your listener can feel that too. A calm speaker often sounds more confident than a fast, nervous speaker. Think about people who speak clearly and carefully. They often sound strong. They sound thoughtful. They sound trustworthy. They sound like they know what they want to say. So, if you want to sound more confident in English, do not only practice vocabulary, do not only practice grammar, practice calm speaking too. Calm speaking changes everything. There is another benefit of speaking slowly. It helps you connect with people. Communication is not just about making sounds. It is about sending a message from your mind to another person. If you speak too fast and the other person cannot understand you, the message is lost. It does not matter how many words you know. It does not matter how advanced your grammar is. If your listener is confused, communication is weak. But when you slow down, your listener has time to follow you. They can understand your words, they can understand your meaning. And when people understand you, they feel more comfortable, they trust you more, they enjoyed the conversation more. This is important in daily life. It is important at work, it is important in class, it is important when meeting new people. Sometimes learners worry and think, if I speak slowly, people will think my English is bad. But usually the opposite is true. Most people appreciate clear speech. Most people want to understand you. Most people are not judging your speed. They are simply trying to follow your message. So give them something clear. That is a gift. Now I want to share a very important idea. Speaking slowly is not your final destination, and it is a step. It is part of the journey. You're not trying to sound slow forever. You are building a strong foundation. When your grammar becomes more automatic, your speed will improve naturally. When your pronunciation becomes stronger, your speed will improve naturally. When your confidence grows, your speed will improve naturally. But if you try to increase speed too early, you may build bad habits. You may repeat the same mistakes again and again. So first build clarity, then speed can come later. This is like learning to play music. At the beginning, you do not play the song at full speed. You play slowly, you learn the notes, you train your fingers, you build control, and later the song becomes faster and smoother. English works the same way. Now let's talk about practice. How can you train yourself to speak more slowly? The first method is very simple. Describe your day out loud. This is a great exercise because your life gives you easy material. You do not need a textbook. You do not need a partner. You can practice at home. For example, in the morning, you can say, I am waking up. Then, I am brushing my teeth. Then, I am making coffee. Then, I am putting on my shoes. These are simple sentences, but that is the point. You are training your speaking rhythm. You are training your mouth. You are training your brain to stay calm while speaking English. And because the actions are real, the practice feels natural. You can also speak in the past tense. For example, at night, you can say, Today I went to the store. I bought some fruit. I talked to the cashier. I came home and cooked dinner. Keep it simple. The goal is not to sound impressive. The goal is to speak clearly and slowly. The second method is to repeat stories. This is very effective. Listen to a short story, a short lesson, or a short sentence. Then pause. Repeat it slowly. Do not worry about sounding perfect. Focus on clarity. Focus on rhythm. Focus on the shape of the words. For example, if you hear, Yesterday I met an old friend at the train station. Pause and repeat it. Say it slowly. Yesterday, I met an old friend at the train station. Feel each part, then say it again a little more smoothly. This kind of repetition helps your vocabulary, pronunciation, and sentence flow. It also teaches your mouth how English feels. The third method is to record your voice. This one is very helpful, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Many people do not like hearing their own voice. That is normal. But recording yourself is one of the best ways to improve. Why? Because when you speak, you may not notice your speed. But when you listen back, you can hear everything. You can hear where you rushed. You can hear where words became unclear. You can hear where you sounded strong. And you can also hear your progress. That is important. Improvement becomes real when you can hear it. Try this. Choose a short topic. Maybe talk about your weekend. Maybe describe your room. Maybe explain your favorite food. Record yourself for 1 minute, then listen. Ask yourself, was I clear? Did I rush? Did I pronounce the endings? Did I give each word enough space? Then record again. Try to make the second version calmer and clearer. Little by little, you will improve. Another useful idea is to use your body when you speak. English is not only words. Communication also includes your face, your hands, and your body language. When you slow down, you have more time to express meaning physically. You can smile, you can show surprise, you can use your hands to explain size, direction, or emotion. You can pause and look more natural. This helps you tell a story. It makes your speaking more alive. It also helps your listener understand you better. Imagine two people saying the same sentence. One person speaks very fast, with no expression, no pauses, and no movement. The other person speaks a little more slowly with a calm face, natural pauses, and helpful gestures. Which person is easier to understand? Usually the second person. Because communication is not just speed, it is presence, it is clarity, it is connection. I also want to say something important about fear. Some learners are afraid of silence. They think every pause is bad. They think they must fill every second with words. But pauses are normal. Pauses are useful. Pauses give you time to think. Pauses help the listener. Pauses make you sound more natural. Even native speakers pause. They pause to breathe. They pause to think. They pause to choose better words. So do not be afraid of a small pause. A pause is much better than rushing into a mistake you did not want to make. A pause can make you sound thoughtful. A pause can make you sound calm. A pause can actually make your English stronger. So the next time you speak English, give yourself permission to slow down. Give yourself permission to breathe. Give yourself permission to think. You do not need to perform. You do not need to race. You only need to communicate. And remember this, fast English is not always good English, but clear English is always valuable. Slow English can be strong English. Slow English can be fluent English. Slow English can be confident English. If you are still learning, that is okay. You are not behind. You are building something. And strong things are built step by step. So start with calm speech, start with clear speech, start with careful speech. Describe your day, repeat short stories, record your voice, use your face and your hands. Let English come out in a steady way. With time, your grammar will improve. With time, your pronunciation will improve. With time, your confidence will grow. And yes, with time, your speed will grow too. But let it happen naturally. Do not force it. Trust the process. Speak clearly first. Speak quickly later. That simple change can help you more than you think. So today and this week, try one small challenge. When you speak English, slow down just a little. Not in a strange way. Not in an exaggerated way. just enough to feel more control, just enough to think, just enough to be clear. You may be surprised by what happens. You may make fewer mistakes. You may sound better. You may feel calmer. And you may finally enjoy speaking more. That is a big win. Keep going. You are improving every time you open your mouth and try. And sometimes the best way to move forward is not to go faster. Sometimes the best way to move forward is to slow down.